Are you and your duo both insane at the game, but you don't see results because your chemistry is bad? Or do you just want to become the best duo possible? Well, this is the video for you. In today's video, I will be giving you all the tips to have the best chemistry with your duo so you can win every game. The first thing you will need to do is find a duo. If you already have a duo, then you can skip this part, but if not, keep watching. If you already have a good following on Twitter, around 1,000 followers, you can put out a looking for duo post, but if not, you'll have to find one in a Discord server. In my opinion, the best servers to use are scrim servers. In these scrim servers, they're looking for group channels to find a teammate. The best scrim servers on NA are Manu scrims and their more competitive counterpart Vital scrims. On EU, the best server is Noble scrims. These servers will have the best players, so you can find the best duo. Now it's time to write your looking for duo message. You should start with saying what you're looking to do with your duo, such as looking for a duo that wants to grind and improve together. Then you should write out all your achievements such as your PR, rank, earnings, and if you're an IGL or fragger. You should also write out if you prefer to play passive or if you want to W key every game. Now you need to write out the same info, but instead of it being about you, it should be what you want from your new duo. This format will work for both Discord and Twitter. If you search for a duo on Twitter, you will probably find a much better and consistent duo, but it will take a lot longer than using Discord. On the other hand, you will probably get multiple people DMing you on Discord within minutes after sending your message. Even though you might want to choose the first person that DMs you, you should ask to look at their Fortnite tracker to see if their placements and consistency seem similar to yours. You should specifically look for if they haven't missed many tournaments since their first one, and if they seem to have not jumped duos a lot. These two signs can show that they might be super inconsistent or they may drop you after one tournament. If you find a duo on Twitter, more than likely they won't be inconsistent at all, since people on Twitter are usually a lot more dedicated to the game. Once you find someone who you think will be a good fit, add them and play some 2v2s or duo zone wars to see how your chemistry works out. If immediately it seems like you guys won't work out, you guys aren't agreeing on decisions, and you aren't able to do anything at all, you might need to find someone new. If you guys seem to play pretty good together, you guys can keep playing some more creative or go into some ranked and keep building your chemistry. Now that you have found your duo, it's time to learn how to be the best duo possible. The first thing you'll need to learn is how to have the best comms possible. There is one main thing to learn about good comms, and it is to not be like this.
100, 180, full box, full box, full box, full box, full box.
Although it may be fun to scream like that, your duo will not appreciate it at all. Everyone will have a different way they like to communicate, so try and figure out what works for you and your duo. A simple method for this is to just tell your duo how much you hit them for and if you're going to push or stay back in a pretty calm voice. If you are the IGL, you can be a little more commanding with your comms because you decide if you push, dip, or play defensively. But you should never start yelling because that helps nothing. In endgames, your comms will be a little different since it's a lot more chaotic. The IGL should be the only one talking and the fragger should be following the IGL and doing exactly what he says. The fragger can tell the IGL how much damage he does, or if there's downtime he can say his ideas for rotates, but for the most part the fragger shouldn't be saying too much. Now that you have the basic comms down, I'm going to give you all the tips you need for all three parts of your game, early, mid, and end game. For early game, you will need to find a drop spot. I will have a video coming out soon on how to pick the best drop spot, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. If your drop spot is a big POI, you should land together, but if you're landing a smaller split drop, it is okay to land further apart. If you're uncon, you should just try and loot your drop spot as fast as possible. If you are contested, you should stick together and try and get a sneaky pump or beam on someone before you push them. You also need to be very aware in case someone tries to do that to you. You don't want this to happen to you throughout the whole game, but especially in early game since you won't have as many heals or mats to help you get back and ready to fight. One thing you should never do while conned is just hide somewhere. That will just let your opponents get more loot and mats than you. This can end up in you dying since you have less loot and mats. Using these tips, you should be able to survive off spawn every game. As the game moves on to the mid game, you can separate a little more from your duo, but you should always try to be able to see your duo on your minimap. If you're trying to take a fight in mid game, you should try go for a beam on one of the players before pushing. If you are the team pushing or if you're getting pushed, you have to choose whether you want to try and focus and seclude one of your opponents, or you can each fight one of the opponents individually. Also, if the two players are both right next to each other, you can fight both of them together. If you're trying to focus one player or are fighting both at the same time, try to push from separate angles. It is harder to fight if you're getting pressured from two different sides. If you're trying to fight one of the opponents individually, treat it just like a 1v1. This is how you should take your mid-game fights. As the zone becomes smaller, there will be a lot more people near you, so at this point you should try to stick together at all times. Once the zone gets to half and half or moving zones, it is important for the fragger to listen to the IGL and do everything he says. One thing you can do to almost guarantee your win is take height. You should do this in late second to early third moving zone, but if you don't have much mats, you should probably just stay on low ground. If there's already a team on height, I would recommend shooting them out or grappling up and then building over top of them while trying to shoot them on the way up. This will most likely help you take height if someone already has it. If there isn't already a team on height, you can just both crank up a couple layers and then you're set. Now that you're on height, just build along and spray at everyone beneath you. If someone starts to shoot you out, you should try and hold the builds, but if they aren't giving up after a few seconds, just grapple to the highest layer you see and crank back up. If you do succeed in keeping height until the last seconds of the final zone and there are only 1 or 2 teams left, leave the heals up with the IGL and have the fragger drop down and fight the last few teams. The IGL up top should try and go for heal off once the zone completely closes. Using all these tips will help you secure the win. If you watched to this point in the video, you're definitely wanting to improve as a duo, so let me know down in the comments what you and your duo's goals are, and be sure to send this video to your duo so they can improve too. Now click this video on screen if you want the best warm-up that you and your duo can use to become crazy at the game.